Hello friends, welcome to Pill and Pod. And today we have an expert in regulatory affairs, Mr. Anoop Mishra, who would guide us, suggest us, and would speak to us. Mr. Anoop Kumar Mishra is the Regional Director for Regulatory Affairs and Safety at Reckitt, South Asia, India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. He brings with him close to 2 decades of extensive experience across diverse portfolio in regulatory affairs and policy advocacy related to pharmaceuticals, biocides, disinfectants, medical devices, and more. He also has product development experience in generic drug development and herbal drug research. Anoop sir joined Reckitt India in year 2013 and has worked across health, hygiene, and nutrition portfolio for South Asia. He has also worked as Global Category Regulatory Affairs Lead for Harpic brand on lavatory care. Prior to Reckitt, he has worked with companies like Glenmark, Mandrini, Ranbaxy, and Unichem in the past. Anoop Mishra sir has done his Bachelor's in Pharmacy from Kumaon University, Nainital, and then did his Master's degree in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Karnataka. मिस्टर अनूप मिश्रा, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. बहुत बहुत आभार कि आप हमारे प्रोग्राम में आए. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग इनटू अवर प्रोग्राम फॉर द डिस्कशन.
Thank you, Samir, for the introduction, and look forward to our discussions. And happy to participate in this discussion.
Thank you so much, Anoop ji. So, my first question would be, how exactly your journey came into regulatory affairs? How exactly did you get into regulatory affairs?
Right. So I think when I was pursuing my post graduation from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, I think during that time, I think there were 2 categories where I think students were focusing on to go for the career opportunities. The first was the formulation research and development.
Okay.
And the second was the scientist in respective government organization like CDRI, NBRI, and there are CMAP kind of national institutes where I think people were thinking to go for a job.
Okay.
So I think I started my career as a formulation scientist where I was developing the product for US and Brazil market. And why I started doing so is during my M.Pharm, my dissertation work was on the formulation development itself. And that was related to taste masking for herbal bitters in pharmaceutical suspension system. So when I was pursuing my formulation development and research job, I saw that I think regulatory affairs is an upcoming field because the step 1 is that when the scientist is able to develop the formulation, then how to market that formulation is the step, right? So before marketing the product, there is a very crucial step, which is getting the product registered with the respective country where company wish to market. And then I thought it's very important field because we can develop the product, but unless these products are not registered by the regulatory authority, we would not be able to launch that product. And thereby, it clicked my mind that let me explore this opportunity. That was the first from the science point of view. The second was that many seniors were joining the regulatory affairs field because during that time, regulatory affairs field was not well-known field. And prior to that, I think only quality people were basically getting the licenses and the product registered. But later on, I think this particular department developed very well, right? And thereby I thought, let me join regulatory affairs as my next role.
Very fine, very fine. Anoop ji, as you very aptly and very concisely said that you got an idea of getting into regulatory affairs when you actually had been doing your master's in pharmaceutics. I was just going to ask this question only for the benefit of the students and the new aspirants who would actually be listening to this program, that while you had been doing your B.Pharm, Bachelor's in Pharmaceutics, you might not have a very fair idea about this field, that is regulatory affairs field. And when you started doing your master's, then you came to know and then you saw few of your seniors going into regulatory affairs. Then you get an idea and then you might have explored this opportunity or a career option and then you might have got attracted towards regulatory affairs. Am I right, sir?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. So this was the question and this was the answer which I wanted to specifically ask, and I requested you to answer so that students can get the idea that they should look into and research into regulatory affairs, whether they want to make their career option there or not. The second question which I would like to ask, if at all one, fine, I mean, it was way back in approximately, I presume, 15, 16 years back when you opted for regulatory affairs career option. Now, when the students might be listening to this program, might be listening to your guidance and your suggestions, how and what a student should do to make his candidature good for this regulatory field. And if at all, I would just like to try to rephrase this question: how one can join into regulatory affairs and what is the selection criteria?
Right. So I think there are two way to look at it. The first way is that as a fresher, if I am a student, if I wish to join regulatory affairs, then how should I approach? The second one is that as a fresher, if I have little bit experience in the formulation development, or maybe little bit experience in the quality domain, or any R&D domain, right? Then what would be the opportunity? So let me start with the first one, which is if I'm willing to start as a fresher, right?
Right.
I think for fresher, I think the 2-3 things are very important. The first one is basically understanding the basics. When I say basics, what are the pharmacy education share, that what kind of skills we should develop if we are going for the pharmaceutical company or organization, right?
Okay.
The first one is the in-depth understanding of the pharmaceutical development process.
Right.
The second would be the person has to be very open-minded and curious, because one has to basically understand what are the basic requirement on registering the product in the country. So I may be starting with India first because we are all Indians. The regulatory authority for India is CDSU, and most of the information is available online nowadays. And if one wanted to gain knowledge on how the regulatory process work, or maybe how the product is being registered in India, if it is a medicine or if it is a cosmetic or if it is a medical devices, there are respective processes very well defined, and guidelines are published in the CDSU portal. So that's the first way to look at it. And before that, even if I understood correctly, in the curriculum also, in the pharmacy curriculum also, there is a subject called pharmaceutical jurisprudence, where we generally learn that what is the Drug and Cosmetic Act and rules. We also learn what is the Pharmacy Act talk about, be it a qualification of a pharmacist, chemist, or maybe a qualification of a drug inspector, assistant drug controller, and the qualification of the Drug Controller General of India, right? So there are various curriculums which are available in the pharmacy course itself, where we get the basic knowledge. How we can enhance the further knowledge is to utilize the tools which is available, like I mentioned, the CDSU portal, if one wanted to develop the skills on the India regulation. Likewise, for US, if anybody wanted to learn the US regulations, the FDA is there, which is Food and Drug Administration for US. So that portal can be referred to. And then if person is wanted to learn about the European medicinal system, the person can refer the EMA website on that. So depending upon the need and depending upon the market requirement, I think one can think of which one to refer. But I think as a person, since I am Indian, I'll start with India first.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So I would, with all your permission, Anoop sir, I would like to summarize it here that you are suggesting that if at all a candidate or an aspirant would like to come into regulatory affairs career, they should start from the pharmacy curriculum, which is there in the pharmacy courses where Drug and Cosmetic Act is being taught. They can seriously study that. So they would come to know about the qualification of pharmacists who go into regulations like drug inspectors or drug controllers. Another point, another step which you told, that a candidate should start studying or understand the processes on CDSCO portal, where he can get, or he or she can get, the fair idea how exactly regulatory affairs is running in India. Third step could be that he should or she should go for understanding about the US FDA portal, what exactly happens to get a product or medical devices or anything registered in US. What are the regulations out there? And the fourth is European Union regulations, where candidate can appear, access EMA website to understand this. Thank you so much for very, very pertinent information. When a person, after listening to this program, I sincerely hope that the students would get intrigued to make a career in regulatory affairs, and they would start following these steps which you very, very pertinently mentioned. So, connecting to this question only, Anoop sir, I would just like to ask, if at all a candidate presents his or her resume to you, what would you like to see in a fresher's resume for a regulatory affairs perspective?
I think very, very good and valid question in today's scenario, because I think when there is a job posted for a single position, I have seen that a lot many people apply for it, right? And within organization, there are various systems because the position is one, but the applicants are so many.
Mhm.
So how to scrutinize those resume, right? I think step one would be for a student to have the very concise details written on the resume, right? Which is, of course, the qualification, etc. But what are the value addition one can do when he or she joins the organization? For example, what are the skills that he can demonstrate to after joining the organization, right? So qualification, because if I am publishing any post for a regulatory affairs job, I think the minimum qualification will always be a technical degree or master's degree or maybe a PhD degree in such and such courses, right? So I think every applicant will have that minimum eligibility criteria. How one can differentiate is the skills. What are the skills you can very well learn and capture in your resume, so that during the scrutiny, your resume is being sorted by the HR professionals or by the technical professionals who are scrutinizing those. Because I think skill plays a very important role to get you to the job.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Anoop sir. Thank you so much for answering this so aptly. Now the students and the aspirants would know that they should start thinking of seriously acquiring some skills, maybe communication skills, maybe writing skills, because I presume there would be requirement of making so many big dossiers and submitting it to the regulatory authorities. So writing skills and understanding the language would be very, very valuable. Here, I would just like to ask a very pertinent question which actually had been asked from the students, that do we have some participation of artificial intelligence nowadays in regulatory affairs? So, should they learn machine learning or artificial intelligence for as a skill development to apply for in regulatory affairs job?
Yes. I think digital mindset nowadays plays a very important role, and I think one should definitely try to learn new technologies in all the areas, specifically the IT related technologies, because information technologies play a very important role. And we all know, because I think in the field, I think we are now 20 years, right? And when I started, I think we were using floppy for the computer
Hmm.
desktop or so. Nowadays, we are using basically a laptop, and then I think there are mobile phones where you can connect directly to any part of the globe, etc., right? So I think that technology has evolved dramatically, and thereby one has to learn the technologies while pursuing any of the job, not only for regulatory affairs but for any of the job. Now coming back to the regulatory affairs and the digital role there, and I think technical informations are same, but I think how you represent those information to the regulators play a very important role, right? How
Right.
you represent your case to the regulatory bodies, and you create that advantage for your company, you create advantage for your product by the skills and the knowledge that you have gathered, while the data remains same, but interpreting the data in a right way and presenting to the regulatory bodies in a right way, so that it's a simplified way of understanding and then representing your case, so that you get the success very quickly. There are two, three areas where I think digital and generative AI is playing very good role nowadays. The first one is the dossier preparation, right? Earlier, we used to submit the hard copy of dossier, which we generally write and then take a printout, make it the hard copy, and then submit to the regulatory authorities. And likewise, the review process with the regulatory authorities was also manual, right? And it was taking long time, both for preparation as well as for the review at the regulatory bodies. So if you submit any new drug approval, etc., to the regulatory bodies, generally it was taking around 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah,
And I think 6 months for the preparation also. So I think by using these technologies, I think those preparation of dossier has reduced drastically, I would say.
drastically. Mm.
And you can basically feed in the data and the dossier will be converted automatically in the defined format, etc., right? So that's the ease of doing work, I would say, the first one. The second one is also related to maintain the confidentiality, because in hard copy of dossier, etc., the chances of misplace, misuse, other things are quite often, right? But if you are using a login id and portal for your company and you are submitting the dossier in a closed group and closed network, I think the chances of those misuse, mishappening is not there, right? So you can still have that basically confidentiality maintained, right? While if there are any queries received earlier, they used to publish on the portal, CDSCO portal, the such and such company got this such and such query. So your competition was able to understand that what was the filing, why you have got this query. So they were able to basically anticipate that what could be the filing, what could be the error my competition has done. But in today's scenario, these things are very much minimized, because if I submit the dossier online, the query will be generated online, that to a particular login ID. It would not be visible to any other competition, any other company. So that's also a very good role. One is, of course, it is improving the efficiency both at the company side as well as at the regulator side. The second is improving the confidentiality, improving the transparency, and lot many things, I would say.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for answering this. So I would just like to repeat and summarize our 3, 4 questions. The very first thing is, what kind of skills or technical skills a candidate should have? You very, very aptly said that candidate who was aspiring to get into regulatory affairs should be at least abridged, or at least should know about the CDSCO procedures, US FDA procedures, European Union's EMA procedures. And then, of course, the candidate should try to develop their skills in artificial intelligence, and as you very correctly mentioned, a term called digital mindset. A candidate should have that kind of a mindset. Accordingly, candidate should look for few courses online. There are n number of courses which are available nowadays to learn machine learning and artificial intelligence, by which a candidate could utilize these skills and be present out there for the company to add value. And then all these skills, I presume, candidates should mention in this resume, so that when you as an employer look into the resume, you can find, all right, the candidate actually has done his or her homework by learning these technical skills, by learning how exactly all the regulatory bodies work. You probably would get impressed. All right, the candidate, even though is fresher, he or she had tried learning all this. So, I mean, I asked you and you answered that question as well, that what are the resources available to upbring these skills into this field. You told me that the candidate should go for the CDSCO portal, US FDA portal, European Union portal, maybe TOPRA. These are few resources which are available. Any other resource would you like to suggest to candidates to develop their skills?
Very valid question, Samir. So I think on the resources, like I mentioned about the technology, I think in today's scenario, technology plays a very important role. And for getting the resources, it's just one click away, right? For any student. Earlier, we used to basically refer hard copy of literatures, etc. I'll give you the example when I was doing my postgraduate dissertation work in Ranbaxy as part of my M.Pharm curriculum, right? I was developing the herbal drug formulation there. And then I had to do the literature search, right? Although there was a internet and other things available, but I think we used to go to the National Medical Library, which is AIMS library, as a student, and getting those published literature searched manually. And it was a very tedious job for us to search these global published literature, scientific literatures manually, because it's very difficult. But now, if I have to search, maybe I just use only any keyword, right? Oncology drugs. I'll just click on the Google you will get all the listed information, right? If you wanted to summarize is that, or maybe pick and choose any specific country or so, you will also get very quickly, right? It's a just one click away. So I think it is up to the student that how he or she wanted to utilize these resources being available online. That's the first one. The second one is that there are various institutions which are offering various courses. Like I mentioned that during the resume shortlisting, right? I think everybody is postgraduate in pharmaceutical sciences. Now, how I can differentiate? I think during our time, I think people used to do some of the diploma over and above the regular curriculum, and nowadays those PG diplomas are online. So you need not to have a basically 1 year wasted for doing those PG diploma. You can do that online courses while pursuing your M.Pharm or D.Pharm, right? So you can parallelly develop these skills where you want to pursue your career. So there are still PG diploma is being offered by various Indian institutions, which is online. And then there are some global institutions like in US, Europe, universities, there are also offering some of the regulatory affairs online programs, which you can do on weekends, etc. So that student can pursue. That's a regular program and the skill development that they can do. There are some free webinars and there are some free portals, which I think you rightly mentioned, that TOPRA, where I think I am also a member of TOPRA. And TOPRA, which is the global organization for pharmacy professionals, I mean the regulatory affairs professionals, right? They are offering the free membership to the students. So I am being working in the company. The membership for me is not basically free, right? And I have to pay in GBP terms because it's a global organization. So the membership fee is in the GBP. So if I convert for India, it would be around 15 to 20,000 for me to get 1 year membership.
Correct.
But I think it's a very important for the students, because for students it's free. If they wanted to pursue the regulatory affairs job, I think they should definitely enroll in the TOPRA, which is the membership for free for students, and they can get the access of not only for India webinars, but they can get access to the all over the world webinars in the same portal. And that too also not limited to a pharmaceutical product. One can get the medical device registration, one can get the vaccine registrations, etc., biological product registration, etc. So many things they can get after pursuing these kind of resources. So I think on the resources I can list hundreds of the resources, but I think the short summary is that the information in the digital world is one click away.
Very, very apt. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for giving this suggestion, giving these advices. As far as the question lies of TOPRA, after you told me about TOPRA, I myself registered as a student because I'm still a student. And after that, I started getting notifications, mails about n number of webinars which are being conducted across the world. And few webinars I attended. Though the terms and content was extremely tight, extremely, thick, still, I was there in those webinars and I was attending it. So I seriously felt a vibration in me that, okay, I'm trying to get something out of these webinars. And after attending few webinars, I started getting the content, what exactly they had been discussing. It was seriously beautiful. And I would seriously suggest even B.Pharm students who might have been listening to this program that they should start participating or at least registering, which is absolutely free for students in TOPRA, and then start attending these webinars. So your area of thinking would start getting broadened and you would start getting thinking on those lines whether regulatory affairs is your cup of tea or not. So this is an extremely, extremely good example Mr. Anoop Mishra has suggested here.
Another point I just recalled and I thought to share, I think it would be
Please.
very beneficial for the students. I would say that I think students should think that what are the resources available around them.
Correct.
I think that should be the step one.
Mm-hmm.
They should try to think that what are the informations available around me. I'll just give another example. When I was pursuing my B.Pharm, right? I think we thought we were a group of friends, because in the college days you have lot many friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what the uniquely approach accepted, right, as a team, as a group of students, that suppose one student is very good in pharmaceutics, another student is very good in pharmacology, another student is very good in chemistry. We used to basically share our knowledge, right? So suppose I'm very good at pharmacology. I'm just giving an example. I can basically read one chapter and then guide others. Likewise, other student can basically read one and then share other. I think by doing that, within a short duration of time, you can learn so many things. Because if I have to read pharmaceutics, pharmacology, pharmacognosy, pharmacochemistry at the same time, I think I have very limited time to study all those things. But if we learn and share those learnings with our nearby people and then student friends, etc., then I think those things is again a very good advantage. Plus, in the company, in the when we work in the industry, also the our learning is not stopping here, right? How
Hmm.
we pursue our learning is, of course, the digital world is there, digital mindset is there, but still we follow the very basic principle that we take the suggestion from our mentors, we take the suggestions from our seniors, right? And it's not a official process. You can always ask your senior if you need any help. You can always ask for any suggestion from your mentor if you need any help, right? In every person's life, I think there would be a role model, be it their parents or be it their teachers or anyone or maybe friends, right? So thereby follow your role model, try to get the information from your role model, from your teacher, from your mentor, wherever you need.
Precisely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It is certainly a very practical advice which you had just given. I observing it and I had been feeling it something like I am doing it right now. When I thought of providing all these informations for new candidates, I found you in the college only, that find your information from the college only, and I thought of contacting you, which is so easy. A number of times people or students or aspirants think that these authorities are unreachable. If at all, we'll drop a message to them or we'll try to contact them. These people are extremely, extremely busy and they are on a very, very high post. They would not reply. So it is a myth. I would just like to convey it here that if at all you have your clear and beautiful intentions to learn or to have guidance, all these top authorities are available. They are also human beings and they have started their career or they have started their journey of life from the level where we are standing. So they are ready to help. We need to ask for the right help. We just need to, make our content to request that, sir, I would like to learn this. So people are ready, like Mr. Anoop Mishra is there to help us out. Thank you so much, Anoop, sir. Another question which I would just like to ask, which is
But
being,
before we move to the next question, I think I would also like to appreciate you
yeah,
because you are doing a very noble job, and I think you are almost getting the resources for the students. So I think I really wanted to appreciate you because I think as a student you are taking one step ahead. You are basically brushing up your one skill, which will be helpful for our society, for our students. So compliments to you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. If at all I would be able to add some value to new aspirants, new students, it would be a great, great pleasure. So, let me come to this question which actually had been asked, that what is the entry level job description in regulatory affairs? क्या पोस्ट होती है, क्या नाम होता है? What is the entry level job description?
Right. So I think different companies has a different designation and the job roles, but I think the basic criteria remains same. So I think for freshers, primarily it's a regulatory associate. Some companies call regulatory specialist. Some company call regulatory officers. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think these are some synonymous posts which is being offered to the
Okay.
freshers.
Okay. And what kind of opportunities are available in regulatory affairs for career growth and advancements? Let's say 5 साल के बाद या 10 साल के बाद, if at all a candidate is working very religiously and hard working in regulatory affairs, after 5 years, what would happen to him or her? After 10 years, what would happen to him or her?
Right. So I think I'll answer to question in two way again. The first one is the basic criteria. The second one is specifically to regulatory affairs. So I think what I have learned during this journey, I think every field is very important because every field has importance in our life, right? So thereby there is a lot of scope of every field. The only thing is that as an individual, as a person, we need to recognize that opportunity and encash those opportunities. So that's a generic information. Now, coming back to the regulatory specific information, I think, like I mentioned, during my research and development work, I realized that even though I'm able to develop very noble product, but I would not be able to market it, or my company would able to market it before we registered with the regulatory bodies.
Correct.
Right. So that was the purpose that I think drove me to join the regulatory affairs. And thereby, I think my thought would be for all the students here that we should identify the purpose which we are driving. Right. And those purposes will definitely help. Again, from a regulatory affairs point of view, there are a lot of opportunity.
Right, sir.
I'll start with India as a country, right? India and China in the globe, they are very well recognized for their manpower, for their skills, for their language. And I think over China also, India has certain advantage because our main language is English, right? Although our mother tongue is Hindi or maybe our other regional languages, Tamil, Telugu and others. But I think our basic education system is now following the English mechanism, right?
Correct.
Which is the language which is very well accepted across the globe. And thereby, I feel that being Indian, we have lot many opportunities. And I think when we see that population of India is now number one, so we can always say that it's a risk for most of us. But I think for companies, it is an advantage because here they can get skilled manpower with very low money. Right? And thereby there is a lot of opportunity for the skilled person from India globally, be it a pharmaceutical industry, be it a IT profession, be it a engineers or doctors. I think you can think of that Indians have reached any and every country now.
Correct. Absolutely fine. This is yet another eye-opener for all of us here, specifically about the new candidates, new students, new aspirants, that the very first advantage we as an Indian have, our language. Our education system is in English. So we can go to any country doing any job, but here we are specifically talking about regulatory affairs. So yeah, even in regulatory affairs, the skills which are being required, we will acquire it. We already have one skill, that is our English language. And then because of the population density, we might come as a economical resource. So we can immediately get a job over any other country's population. So
I think just to give you 2-3 examples, just to build upon this statement, is in India, there are 3 categories of organizations which are working in the regulatory affairs field very extensively. The first one is Indian companies or Indian multinational companies. So for Indian multinational company, there are 2 kind of opportunities and the job is one is of course the local market, domestic market. The another is the export. Because most of the Indian companies are exporting the pharmaceutical goods to the various locations, right? And we are very happy and proudly sharing this information that India is the largest exporter of pharmaceutical goods to the exports, right? So I think that itself is a big opportunity being a pharmacist today.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I mean, just a couple of, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. So that was on the Indian company and the opportunity for pharmaceutical student because India is the number one country who is exporting the pharmaceutical medicines to the globe. The second is global companies. Global companies are now basically coming at very large scale because one is of course the population. If population is there, product consumption will be higher, right? Now there are some lifestyle diseases which has come from the West, but there are some other diseases which is hygiene related diseases which were there inherent, right? So there are a lot of opportunity both from a population point of view as well as from a disease criteria point of view. And thereby lot many companies are coming to India for launching their product, for doing the clinical trials for their product, which will be launched globally. And of course, that will again create a opportunity for Indian students to work for domestic market, to work for a global company, to work for an Indian company, and also contribute to the product being launched globally from India.
Yes.
The third scope is the third party, right? Nowadays, most of the company, or maybe it's a practical also sometimes, because not every company will have the infrastructure to manufacture everything, right? So, for example, if the company is pharmaceutical good, whether the company has the infrastructure and capability to manufacture tablet, capsule, pills, ointment, gel, injection, vaccine, etc., etc. Right now, to have that mapping, there are opportunity of contract research organizations, and I am again happy to share with you that lot many global companies has introduced a third party resource center in India, and that resource center is providing the technical support to the globe, and those resource center is specifically for regulatory affairs, because
Wow.
they know that Indian talents are very good in pharmacy, in regulatory affairs, and thereby there are a lot of opportunity. I'll give some example of the company also. The first company which introduced this model in India was Novartis, and they have the resource center in Hyderabad. I think when they started, I think they started with 50 people, but now I assume there would be more than 500 people in the Hyderabad resource center. Likewise, for Glaxo, Eli Lilly, Sanofi, everybody is now opening their centers either in Hyderabad or Bangalore or in Mumbai. Right? So I think it's again creating lot of opportunity. So my message to the student is that sky is the limit. And nowadays there is a saying that even sky is also not a limit. So think in that way and try to get opportunity where your purpose lies in life.
This is very, very interesting, sir. Very, very interesting. I would like to draw the attention of all the students and aspirants who are listening to this program. Mr. Anoop has given a very, very important information here. He has mentioned that there are third party resources centers out here in India. Few example he has given like Novartis, Glaxo, Sanofi, Eli Lilly, maybe Boston, maybe Baxter. There are so many companies who have these resource centers, and all these resource centers pertaining to regulatory affairs require Indian people. So, this is one piece of information which is extremely important. We should keep on now looking for these opportunities, or even I suggest candidates who are serious about getting into regulatory affairs that start visiting these places. Try क्रैश डोर कीजिए, जाके कंपनी में कोशिश तो कीजिए, कोई रिसोर्स निकालिए जिससे यू कैन विजिट द कंपनी, यू कैन मीट सम ऑफिशियल्स आउट देयर in these resource centers. It would be a beautiful thing. Fabulous. This is a beautiful piece of information, Mr. Anoop, which you had just given. Thank you so much. Another question which I would just like to ask, which is on our lighter part of it. What is the most sensitive part of regulatory affairs? In your experience, as you had been working for last more than 10 years in this area, what is the most sensitive part of regulatory affairs job?
Very valid question. I think, like I mentioned, that there is a product life cycle, right? Product life cycle means the product will be developed, right? Then the product will be registered and then marketed. So, regulatory affairs work start when the product is at the concept stage and last throughout the product life cycle. But the critical point here is before product gets into the market, the main thing is to get the license for that product before it is allowed in the country to be marketed. And since it's a last stage, I think a lot of stake for the company is there, and thereby it should be managed very seriously, because if either there might be some delay in the registrations which might delay the product launch, right? That's one thing. The second thing is that suppose if any misinformation has been given in the dossier, the approval will also be on that line. Whether we would be able to implement that within a short duration of time, that's again a challenge. And thereby, I think each and every steps are very critical in regulatory. And when I say that from concept stage we are involved, when R&D scientist is developing the product, if it is a pharmaceutical goods, there are certain requirements that which excipient we can use, which excipient we cannot use, right? Which colorant we can use, which colorant we cannot use in our formulation for a respective country. I think those information regulatory affairs professional provide well in advance. Suppose if regulatory affairs professional is not very much skilled and he provide the misinformation at the concept stage, you can imagine the product will not be launched. because unless the R&D scientist is able to fix that excipient change, etc., and do the stability again, and then file it, it would be very big chaos later on. And thereby, every step in regulatory is very critical. I would like to give one example from our current uses. And I remember with the acronym called EAT. EAT is EAT, EAT, right? So EAT is the name of the color. So the E is erythrocene, right? A is amarantha. T is tartrazine. These are the name of the color, depending upon the red, yellow, and blue color that we use, right? So these are the colors. These colors are banned in Russia and CIS countries. So suppose if the product is being developed for those countries, we are not supposed to use these colorants. But if the product is being developed for India, we can very well utilize those colors. So this is just an example. Suppose if regulatory affairs professional given a wrong information at the concept stage, the whole chaos will be there and product will not be launched. So these are just an example, but I think every step in regulatory is very
Fantastic.
the second and most important point is that regulatory is the connecting link between the industry and the regulatory body. Just to simplify again, it's basically internal connection to the external world. Internal, I here mean by the industry. External is the external world, be it a consumer, be it a media, be it a regulatory body. If regulatory affairs professional is not communicating the right thing, the company stake will be on risk. So, being an external facing function, I think we have to be very clear on our communication. We have to very clear on our knowledges, which we share with our cross-functional team, which we share with our external teams, which we share with our regulatory bodies, and thereby the communication is the key to success.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining the entire process by giving examples of colorants as well. That's very, very apt and appropriate. People and students and new aspirants, whosoever would be listening to this program, would get a fair and clear idea what exactly is being required and what kind of sensitivity is there in this career option. Fabulous. Thank you so much, sir. So, though of course you have already answered it, but I would just like to repeat it once again that do we have overseas opportunities in regulatory affairs?
Lot many.
Okay.
Because we do understand that there are different regulatory guidelines for respective countries, but I think the basic concept remains same. That means one has to register the technology or the product in respective market before it gets into the market, right? And thereby the overseas opportunities are much more in regulatory affairs.
Okay. Fantastic.
And again, generally, I would like to give the example. I would like to give the example here as well.
Please do.
The companies where I have worked, I just start with my formulation development experience. I was working with Unichem in Goa. That R&D center they started in Goa, and I think we were the first 5 scientists which were joined there. And I can say that out of 5 scientists, I think I am of course in regulatory now, but I think the remaining 4 are in US and they are the scientists in the US for various companies. So that's one example. The current example from my regulatory affairs portfolio is that lot many team members, I think we were able to send them abroad for their career growth and opportunities. So within my team members are in US, my team members are in UK. So I'm happy and very proud to share that there are a lot of opportunity for regulatory professionals.
Amazing. Of course. So we can hear here that opportunities are there. We need to just be focused and try developing our skills every single day to be there. Mr. Anoop clearly mentioned examples which are true and his own experienced one. So we cannot think on any other lines besides getting our skills developed for the positions. Fabulous. Fantastic. Anoop sir, this is yet another question which I would just like to ask, though a very, very important one. And to start with, these questions might sound slightly trivial, but very important. A number of classmates of mine and students actually keep on asking this question. What are the initial salary packages in regulatory affairs as a fresher or as an entrant? What are the initial salary package? And after, let's say, a candidate sticks to regulatory affairs job, what happens after 10 years? फर्ज कीजिए आज की डेट में X सैलरी पैकेज है, 10 साल के बाद क्या होगा?
So I was sharing that package is not an issue for a right candidate and for right skill set. And I can start giving the example from other industry before I talk about the regulatory affairs specifically. We have all seen and heard in the newses, right? In particular institutions, a student can get a Google job in US even being a fresher, right? The other student can get a job in India in other companies. So I think the crux here is that package is not a bar for a right candidate for right skill set. And thereby my message to the students would be to focus on the skills. Money will follow you. Now, coming back to the regulatory and giving the right example. See, different industry has a different package and remuneration systems, right? If it is an Indian company, if it is a multinational company, both are different in that way, right? So the average salary for any fresher would be around 3 lakh or so per annum when they start the career. But I think there is no limit, there is no bar for getting your salary increased by acquiring the right knowledge, by acquiring the right skills.
So let's say if I would request you to please give an example, what exactly would be the package of a candidate after 10 years? What it could be?
More than a crore.
My goodness. Fabulous. Fantastic. I mean, sir, I would just like to thank you for giving this professional answer, because all the students whosoever are meeting me are asking the same questions, and I had been trying to, give them a professional answer or kind of a near accurate answer, but you gave a perfect accurate answer to this question. Now, another question which I would just like to ask very quickly here, which students keep on asking me, that their peer group or their friends or their relatives, sons and daughters are studying in computer sciences and they are getting jobs from the very start, starting with a package of, let's say, 13 lakhs, 14 lakhs, maybe 20 lakhs. And जितने भी हमारे फार्मेसी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, ये बहुत इंफीरियर सा फील करते हैं, बहुत अनसेफ फील करते हैं कि सर, these guys, these counterparts of ours who are getting educated in computer sciences are getting whooping salaries, and our future is practically in dark, where starting is only 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. So I would like to reiterate here, I would like to reinstate here, I had been trying to make them understand, please, guys, please wait. That's a soft skill which they are doing. You have that hard skills of developing pharmaceutical drug products or regulatory affairs. Just wait for your time to come. Please don't get deterred by 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs or their 25 lakhs. After 10 years, you would be reaching a very fantastic remunerations if at all you'll keep on developing your skills. Thank you so much, Anoop sir. A second, my opinion. And now the students would actually be very, very confident and happy to know this. Thank you so much.
Right. And I think, again, I would like to give another example, because I think the statement which I mentioned is very important here. The package is not the bar for a right candidate, be it in BTech computer science or BTech pharmaceutical science. Right. So I think the main thing we need to consider is the skill. How we are developing our skill. If our skills are at the par of majority of the students around us, I think salary package would not be a bar. And I think now we are at this stage where I think we are going for the campus interviews for not only for pharmacy colleges, but we also go to the IIT colleges, right, where we do the interviews.
Correct.
So not all the IIT students are also getting the same kind of package. So one has to think of that, yes, there are person to person variations are there are industry to industry variations are there, and we should respect those variations, right? But we should not say that our field is not good, because we are the only person who can drive the growth in that field.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Rather, I wanted to request you, and now I would request you to please say a few words to our pharmacy students who are studying now, because somehow, by large, the majority of these students are really scared that what would happen to our future, what would happen to our career, हम अपनी अच्छी से जिंदगी जी पाएंगे या नहीं. And I keep on trying to tell them that please don't worry. You are in an extremely good line of education. So I would request you to please suggest something or motivate these guys.
Thank you, thank you. And I think it's a very important part, because I think when we join any of the function or any of the department or any of the course for pursuing the next career aspect, right? I think the thing which drive is the purpose. What is the purpose I am pursuing this course? What is the vision I am carrying, right? If we do not have the purpose that why I am pursuing pharmacy, if I do not have the vision that I would be pursuing a particular department or function, I think we would be somewhat not clear, and we would not be able to understand the opportunity around us. In other way around, I would suggest the student to try to get the opportunity, try to understand the opportunity in and around you. Instead of comparing that other function or other teams are very good, but we are not good. I think my thought would be create the opportunity within this domain, within this opportunity. And I can give the example. When I started, and most of us started the career, right? I think during that time in the state, I think 2-3 pharmacy colleges were there. Now in the city, there are 50 or more than 50 colleges are there within the city. So one can imagine that I think there is a dramatic change or opportunity has been created for pharmacy as a course, pharmacy as a profession. That's one example from a student point of view. The second is also from the government organization point of view. We can always say and refer that like Government of India has formed the IITs and IIMs for the other category of job. Likewise, Government of India has introduced NIPER and NIMER. Going forward, I think NIMER will also be there. NIMER is National Institute for Medical Device Educations. So they have now recognized that NIPER is very good platform for pharmacy student to nurture and get the basically higher education on the pharmaceutical side. Now they are introducing the similar mechanism for a medical device. So I think Government of India is also now realizing that there are a lot of opportunity in this field, and thereby I would say that a student should not feel that they are in a wrong field. They are not in a field which are not basically booming, which are not very basically growing. Another aspect from an industry point of view, when we started the career, I think there were very few companies, right? I can give you the example for medical device industry. Now, more than 500 companies are only based out in Delhi NCR.
Wow.
More than 500 companies, and all are multinational companies.
Amazing.
So thereby there are a lot of opportunity. When we started, I think yes, there were some challenges, but I think where we are now, there is a tremendous opportunity. And you have seen, and we all have seen the COVID phase, right? COVID phase, I think what everybody was anticipating, what everybody was expecting from the society, from the pharmacy student, from the pharmaceutical industries, was how fast you can get the vaccine for us, because it's a life-saving thing. We should think that we are doing a great job. We are doing a very great, noble job to provide the consumers, to provide the patients medicine which can save their life, which can improve their lifestyle. So I think that purpose is very strong. We are not doing just a job. We are helping the community. We are helping the consumers.
Fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. These statements, these suggestions, these guidelines, these guidance of yours would really, I sincerely feel, motivate new students who are studying in this field, who are studying in this discipline. We are seriously responsible for the betterment of the society. Okay, we are also responsible for ourselves, for our families, and the industry is actually offering extremely good remunerations where we should not feel inferior to any other discipline of science or jobs. Anoop sir, thank you so much for giving all the practical informations to the students. I am 100% sure, and I would request the students to listen to this program again and again and write down and take note of Anoop sir's teachings and guidance. He had given us n number of informations and datas. I have also written it down. So please write down all those datas and start searching. Become an eligible candidate and then approach the industry. Nobody no industry would defy you. They'll take you and you'll be stars. Anoop sir, thank you so much. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, Samir. And I think we'll close the call with some key messages from my side for the student.
Please, sir.
And you can refer these as a success formula. Because when we started this discussion, I said only one statement. Let's make our basics right.
All right.
Everything else will fall in place. So maybe I'll give 6 techniques which I think students can follow.
Amazing.
And these are 6 Japanese techniques which we should definitely follow. And this is not for regulatory affairs. This is for our personality. This is for our skills, right? If we are keeping those basics right, I think everything will fall in place. And what are those 6 Japanese techniques? The first one is ikigai. You might have heard and listened, or maybe you have
read this book. Yes,
the
sir.
books as well.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So ikigai is the discover purpose in your life.
Yes.
We should always think why we are waking up in the morning, why we are going to the office, why we are going to the college every day. What is my purpose? What is my purpose to pursuing the pharmacy? What is my purpose to basically contributing to the society via pharmaceutical industry? So I think that discovering the purpose is the very important, right?
Right, sir.
And there is a saying also from Naukri.com, I think, which I generally use in most of the seminars, etc. Is the punchline for Naukri.com was that if you have the reason, we have the job.
Wow.
So thereby, my suggestion to the students would be create that region for you, and job will be on your doorstep. So don't worry on that. The second important topic is Kaizen.
Yes,
which is Kaizen is a Japanese technology. That's the second technology, which is taking the small steps, taking the small daily improvements in our life. If I have to learn maybe 100 chapters, or maybe I have to learn 100 skills in my life, let's start with the one. Take a small step and go step by step, and then go for the perfection. Because we all are not perfect, right? Even my 5 fingers are not the same.
Right,
but
sir.
Every 5 fingers has an individual job to play, right? And thereby take the small steps, take the daily improvements instead of focusing on perfection at the step 1. The third one is the Pomodoro technique, which I used to follow even not before knowing this technology.
Okay.
Right? What is it? Suppose I have to study for 6 hours for exam tomorrow, right? I have to take a break, because break is very important. Because break generally give me the basically refresh to my mind, and basically keep my earlier learning subside, and then new learnings will come after that, right? So the thought from Pomodoro is that if I have to study for 30 minutes, suppose 25 minutes we should focus without getting any distractions, and take 5-minute break before you start the next task. So break your task in a duration wise and take some 5-minute break. That will refresh and then rejuvenate your thoughts, and you will be ready for the next learning also.
Right, sir.
The fourth one is the Haraha Chibu technique, which is on the eating habits. Nowadays, we have seen that many lifestyle diseases are there, because most of us are in the basically sitting jobs, or sitting even for students. If they are in higher studies, I think they have to at least study 6 to 8 hours, I think, and thereby eating half full, not completely full, and thereby the energy will be there. If we are eating 100%, the energy will not be there, and thereby we should eating half full is the thought here.
Very right,
Maybe
sir.
eating 80% is the right word, I would say here.
Very right.
The fifth one is Sosin. Sosin means approach like a beginner for any task in life. Being curious. Always apply why before what, because what is very well defined, why is not defined, and
Right,
then
sir.
create how after that. The sixth one is Wabi Sabi. Wabi Sabi is embrace imperfection, take small steps. So nobody is perfect in this world. The only thing is that let's take a small step to learn and build our skills. So these are the 6 technique which are Japanese technique, and I think details would be there on the online, and resources are available very much in online. But I think these are some thoughts from my side which will help individuals to correct the basics, and then work on the vision and purpose of their life and their pharmacy course to get the right job and succeed in their life. With that, I am wishing all the best to all the students. And Kuma University, of course, is very close to my heart because I think we have spent 3 to 4 years there. So all the very best to all the students.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We would like to convey our most sincere regards to you for coming into this program, for guiding our students and new aspirants. Anoop, sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Samir, and thanks again for taking this step for the student. You are really doing a great job and noble cause. Thank you.
Thank you.